How's everybody doing?
Good.
Very good.
Alright, for today, my speech, today I'm going to tell you a few times that I have to deal with the law, police officers, and, some kind of fair situations that I have to deal with. And, here's a quote by von Bismarck. He says, "Laws are like sausages. It's better not to see them being made." And I agree with that. And honestly, I'm going to tell you a few things, and the first thing I'm talking about, I really shouldn't be talking about it because I'm still in court for it. So hopefully none of you guys don't try to use this against me if you run into any law enforcement. Sorry. None of I work for the DA. Recently, about a month or two ago, me and my roommate, we happened to be coming home at the same time, and we were kind of driving fast through the neighborhood, and I guess some guy didn't appreciate it, I guess. At least that's what my roommate told me. We kind of laughed it off. So I'm parked in the driveway cleaning out my car, and this guy comes walking up with a cell phone, and he's like taking pictures or recording, and I'm sitting there like, what is this guy doing? So I was kind of just sitting there for a little bit, not saying anything, and after a while I was all like, is there a problem? And he's all like, yeah man, you guys are coming around that corner fast, just recently I had to pick up a dead dog, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's really not my problem. So we kind of exchanged a few words, and things went back and forth. So I was like, let me go get my roommate. So I went in the house and brought him out. And I'm not going to go into all the other details, like I said, one of the stuff held against me. But a little while later, 15 minutes later, the police come knocking on the door and banging on the door. Told my roommate not to answer. They said he found it for like 15 minutes. He's like, I'm not opening the door. I'm like, well, I'm not even here. Well, somehow I guess they kind of convinced them to bring me out, or they're going to tow his car or something. His tags are expired. So I talked to the officer. They're like, well, the neighbor said that you pulled a gun on him. And I was all like, I don't know anything about any guns, officer. But it didn't matter. They took me to jail. It was alright. I bailed out. It's nothing. A second thing, like with the laws, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the drug crack cocaine. Well, my dad, he was a big-time drug dealer back in the day, so I've seen a lot of drugs, guns, and all kind of crazy stuff at a younger age. But I kind of felt like the laws are kind of unfair with that, because he spent a lot of time in prison, probably like 5 or 7 years throughout my younger lifespan, or younger, when I was younger. And it really didn't affect me too much, but kind of thinking about it, they kind of, well, some people may agree, but they're pretty sure they put, the drugs in that, especially black communities, so they pretty much destroyed it. So I kind of agree with that. And you get kind of like one crack cocaine, was that like 10 years, which is kind of ridiculous. So I think that law is pretty much unfair. Another time, and I know this is Orange County, I don't think you guys have projects out here, do you? Like projects, PJs, stuff that shaking your head. Well, basically, project is kind of like a little community, it's kind of like a housing project, basically. And a lot of drugs and a lot of activity and stuff going on around there. And I spent like a lot of my time over there, not just to be over there, but I have a lot of family over there. And they have like a police, what they call SMASH, and they don't look for people that have like drugs or anything like that. So one day I was minding my own business. I dropped my dad off. It was his car, but his car is like kind of known in that community. So I dropped him off, and I turned around the corner, and next thing you know, the police come driving up on me. I just pulled over like, what's going on? They're all like, give me search your car. I was all like, go ahead, this and that. Got me on the corner, handcuffed me. I'm trying to figure out like, what did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. And, back to the laws, they have that specific police force just to look for drugs. In actuality, government or maybe conspiracy theories, they want to put the drugs in the neighborhood and then try to sell the drugs, make a little bit of money, get arrested. It's unfair. And this last one, I'm pretty sure we've all gotten speeding tickets. Both my parents, they stay up north, so sometimes I go up north a couple of times a month. Not a couple times a month, but every other month I go up there to visit them. And my mom, she stays in Paso Robles, and there's this Highway 46, it's only 2 lanes. So sometimes it's kind of hard, if you're behind a car going real slow, you got to go around them. Well, speed limit is probably like 60, so I try to do at least 80. But I was like with like a group of cars, and we're all doing about the same amount of speed. And next thing you know, I see like a high patrol officer off to the side, and he's like driving, the down the window, like waving the car in front of me to pull over. I was like, thank goodness. I tried to go around, and that officer like sped up. I'm like, what's going on? He pulled me over and like tipped up the cars and gets started out like, I pulled you over. I'm like, no, officer, you guys are speeding. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, some of these laws aren't fair. You should have pulled one person over, not like 6 cars. But like I said, I agree with Von Bismarck. Sometimes laws are just right.
All right, the greeting's okay. It's not really an original way to get things started. I thought that the transition to the topic was good. I wasn't quite clear what your point was until the end of the speech, and you kind of make it a little bit clearer, but there's an okay preview of where you're going to go with the material. On the individual points, you've got a story to tell, examples, opinions to share on everything, so I think you're doing okay on all of those things. Sometimes I think you need to be a little bit more controlled and focused because you wander around a little bit on it, but you do find things to talk about, which is kind of what we're looking for. On the presentation issues, I think you need a little bit more energy in your voice. You need to project a little bit more. You've got kind of a quiet voice, and what you do to emphasize ideas is you drop your voice sometimes, and when you listen to it and watch it, you're going to hear that. And the idea is, I think you're trying to pull us in a little bit, but I think you drop it a little bit too much, and it sometimes is a little hard to follow along, and it comes across as a nervous affectation rather than something that you're doing deliberately just for effect. There's some good indicators and gestures while you're speaking, but there's this one thing that you're doing. You're kind of swinging your arms around a lot that it's really distracting. Your hands are kind of flailing in the air, and sometimes you're swaying back and forth, so the hands are flailing while you're swaying, and that just looks a little bit awkward. That's where I think most of your anxiety comes from. You're pretty expressive and animated with your facial expressions. Your eye contact is pretty consistent. You're looking around the audience, and I think you do a good job there. Like I said, most of the anxiety issues seem to be in your hands and in your arms. At the end of the speech, you kind of come out with a reasonable conclusion for the point that you're trying to make, and I thought it was a little bit more focused then. All right, thank you.